In this chapter, you will learn how to fill out the affidavit in support of motion to modify child support, CSX 203. As mentioned in Chapter 2, when you file a motion, you must also file an affidavit. The affidavit is your statement of facts. It explains why you are asking for what you listed in your motion. This is your chance to explain to the judicial officer in writing why you are trying to change your child support order. Fill in the caption of the form the same way you did on your motion to modify child support. Next, fill in your name on line 1 and check whether you are the obligor, the person paying child support, or the obligee, the person receiving child support. Fill in the names and birth dates of the children on line 2 and check if there is any court-ordered parenting time. Keep in mind that this question is only asking about children you have with the other party in this case. In our example, Fred and Wilma have one child, Pebbles Flintstone. If you have other children with the other party that are not part of this case, list their names and dates of birth on the lines below. In our example, Fred does not have any other children with Wilma, so Fred can fill in none. Do not include children that you have with another person. You will be asked for that information later. For question 3, you must explain why you are asking to change the child support order. In our example, Fred recently lost his job at the rock quarry, so his income has substantially changed. Also, he was ordered to provide medical insurance for Pebbles, but no longer has benefits available to him. Question 4 allows you to give more detailed information about why the child support order should be changed. As the instructions explain, you should provide details, and if you have documents to prove your claims, be sure to attach them to your forms. In our example, Fred was laid off from the rock quarry, where he had been employed for 15 years. He now receives unemployment, and his child support is taken directly out of his unemployment check, which leaves him very little income to meet his expenses. He is asking for child support to be lowered because his unemployment income is significantly less than what he was earning when he was employed. If you need more space, you can continue your responses on another piece of paper. If you do that, be sure to add "See Attachment 4" or "Continued on Attachment 4" in the space shown. Be sure to then label your attached piece of paper as Attachment 4. When using fillable smart forms, the form will allow you to type in your full answer. If you are asking the court to change the health care support for the children, answer question 5. If you are not asking to change the health care support, skip to question 6. In our example, Fred is asking that he no longer be responsible for covering health insurance for Pebbles and that she be added to Wilma's insurance instead. Be sure to explain why you are asking to change the terms of the health care support. If insurance is available through your employer, include the cost of coverage for yourself and your dependents. If you are asking to change the court order for child care daycare costs, answer question 6. If not, skip to question 7. For question 6, fill in the information asking if there is a current order and current information about the child care expenses. If there are child care costs, but you do not know the amount, you can fill in unknown. Be sure to explain why you are asking to change the terms of the child care support. To fill out the next few questions, look at your current child support order. You need to prove that your circumstances today are significantly different than they were at the time of the last order, and that the changes make the current order unfair. Question 7 asks for the county and date of the existing order. In our example, Fred's case is filed in Blue Earth County, and the existing order is dated June 18, 2012. Question 8 asks for your employment information at the time of the existing order. In our example, Fred was employed at Slate Rock and Gravel Company, earning a gross monthly income of $5,500. If you also earned income from another source at the time of your existing child support order, fill in that information. Question 9 asks for information about the other parent's employment and income at the time of the existing order. In our example, Wilma was unemployed when the child support was first established and she had no other source of income. If the child received Social Security or Veterans benefits at the time of the current order, be sure to check the appropriate box for question 10. You will now be asked for current financial information. This will include information about your current employment, other sources of income, and your monthly expenses. Select your marital status for question 11. The box for living with a companion means you are in a relationship with another person and share household expenses but are not married. Question 12 asks about your current employment. If you are unemployed, check that box, and then for question 13, include the amount of your unemployment and any other sources of income you have. As shown in the example on the screen, put $0 if you do not have that type of income listed. If you are employed, be sure to fill in the name, address, and phone number of your employer, the type of work, how long you have been employed in that position, and your pay. No spaces should be left blank because this is information about you. You must give your gross income. If you have other sources of income, for example, if you get commissions, pension payments, or are self-employed, be sure to include these amounts for question 13. Be sure to fill in 0 for any sources of income that you do not receive. You will need to provide documents to prove your income. That proof will be sent to the other party and the county attorney's office and filed with the court. We will talk about that more in chapters 4 and 5. To calculate your monthly income, you can take your hourly rate of pay multiplied by the number of hours worked in a week multiplied by 4.33, the average number of weeks in a month. For example, if you earn $15 an hour and you work 40 hours a week, you would take 15 multiplied by 40, which equals 600, and then multiply that by 4.33 for a gross monthly income of $2,598. If you get public assistance, be sure to check any boxes that apply for question 15. If you have applied for but do not yet receive any public assistance, do not check a box. If your children get Social Security or Veterans benefits, be sure to include that amount for question 16. Check the boxes to show whose disability it is based on and who gets the payments. If your children do not receive those benefits, fill in 0. Question 17 asks about any spousal maintenance orders currently in place. If you have any non-joint children, children that you may have with another parent, not a party to this case, be sure to complete all of the information for question 18. This includes the name of the child, date of birth, the amount of any court-ordered child support, and if the child lives with you. If there is no court-ordered child support, fill in 0. Be prepared to provide copies of your current court orders for any non-joint children at the time of your hearing. If you do not have any non-joint children, fill in none, as shown in the example on the screen. For question 19, you are asked about your monthly expenses. If you are married, include total household expenses for you and your spouse. For expenses such as utilities or groceries that may change from month to month, fill in your average monthly expense. Be sure to fill in 0 for any listed expenses that you do not have. For question 20, check the box for who helps pay your expenses, including checking the box for no one if no one helps to pay your expenses. Question 21 asks about the value of any property that you own. This includes any real estate, checking or savings accounts, vehicles, and household goods. Note that as explained in the question, this includes property you own alone or with someone else. Be sure to give a fair estimate of all of your property. Question 22 asks if you have court-ordered parenting time with your children. If you do have court-ordered parenting time, check yes and answer questions 23, 24, and 25. If you do not have court-ordered parenting time, check no and skip to question 26. Question 23 asks about the court file number for any court-ordered parenting time case. If your court order for parenting time is in the same court file as your court order for child support, check the first box. If your order for parenting time is in a different court file, check the second box and fill in the court file number for that case. Question 24 asks if you have court-ordered equal parenting time with the other parent. If you do, check yes. If you do not, check no. Question 25 asks how many annual per year overnights the court awarded to each parent in the parenting time order. Fill in the total number of overnights you have with the children each year on line A. Fill in the total number of overnights the other parent has with the children each year on line B. Question 26 asks about the other parent's employment. Check whether they are employed or unemployed, or check the box for I do not know. If they are employed, fill in any information you know about their employer. For information you do not know, fill in unknown. Question 27 is about other sources of income the other parent may have. Fill in amounts for whatever information you know, and fill in unknown for information you do not know. If you believe the other parent receives public assistance, Check the appropriate box or boxes for question 28. Leave this blank if you do not know if the other parent receives public assistance. Question 29 asks about the other party's obligation to pay spousal maintenance to you or any other person. If you answer yes, be sure to fill in an amount or fill in unknown if you do not know the amount. If you do not know if the other party pays spousal maintenance, you can check I don't know. If you have information about the other parent's children from another relationship, fill in as much information as you have for question 30. You can fill in unknown for any pieces of information you may not have. For example, if you know a child's name but not their date of birth. If you believe the other parent may have other children, but you are not sure, you can fill in unknown. If you know that they do not have children from another relationship, fill in none. Fill in your name, address, telephone number, and email address at the end of the form. Be sure to also fill in the county and state where you signed the form, which can be done when the affidavit is complete. By signing the affidavit under penalty of perjury, you are stating that the information in the document is true to the best of your knowledge. Perjury is the crime of intentionally lying or misrepresenting the truth, punishable by jail or other sanctions. This is the end of Chapter 3. Go to Chapter 4 to learn how to serve copies of your motion on the other party and the county attorney's office and how to fill out the affidavit of service form.